Level 1. The Peasant Boy. You are 6 years old. You live in a wooden house with a thatched roof in a village outside Kyoto. The year is 1567. Your father is a farmer. His father was a farmer. His father's father was a farmer. The land doesn't belong to your family. It belongs to the local lord, the daimyo, whom you've never seen and will never meet. Your family works the rice paddies from dawn until dusk. You help. You've been helping since you could walk. Your back already aches in the mornings like an old man's. Your hands are calloused. Your feet are bare and tough as leather. One afternoon, samurai ride through your village. You've seen samurai before, but only from a distance. This time, they stop. Their horses are enormous. Their armor catches the sunlight in ways that hurt your eyes. They each have 2 swords, a long one and a short one, tucked into their belts. They look at the villagers the way a hawk looks at a field of mice. They aren't cruel. They aren't kind. They're simply above you in a way that feels permanent and absolute. One of the samurai notices you. He's young, maybe 16. His face is still soft beneath the iron helmet. He sees something in you. Maybe it's the way you stand. Maybe it's the way you don't look away. He says something to the older samurai beside him. They laugh. Then, they ride on. You'll think about that moment for the rest of your life. You won't become a samurai. Almost no peasant ever does. The class you're born into is the class you die in. That's the law of the land. That's the order of heaven. But your son might. Or your son's son. The world is changing. War is everywhere. Lords are rising and falling. Armies need men. And sometimes, very rarely, a peasant who fights well and survives long enough can rise. The world is changing. Wars rage across the land. Lords rise and fall with the turning of fate. Armies are hungry for men. And sometimes, very rarely, a peasant who fights bravely and survives long enough can rise above his station. You don't know any of this yet. All you know is that the rice must be harvested before the rains arrive. All you know is the emptiness in your stomach. All you know is that the men on horseback looked at you as if you were nothing, and you desperately want to become something. You don't yet have a word for that feeling burning inside you. You will search for it your entire life. You are 18 years old. You volunteered. 3 months ago, the recruiters passed through your village seeking foot soldiers. You stepped forward before your father could hold you back. He didn't try to stop you. He looked at you with a mix of pride and sorrow, then gave you his old straw sandals and a single rice ball wrapped in cloth. With that, he sent you on your way. You have not seen him since. You never will again. Ashigaru means, light feet. That is what you are now, light infantry, the lowest rank of fighting men in your daimyo's army. You are not a samurai. You will probably never become one. Yet you carry a spear and a heavy matchlock musket known as a tanagashima. You wear a cheap piece of armor over a padded jacket, and when the army marches, you march with it. For the first time in your life, you eat every day. The rice is coarse and the soup is watery, but it comes regularly. You have never known such consistency before. You drill without end. You learn to march in formation. You learn how to lower your spear at the correct angle to stop a cavalry charge. You learn to load and fire your musket in coordinated volleys alongside the men beside you. The musket is heavy and slow to use. You must always carry the burning match cord wrapped around your wrist, ready to ignite the powder the moment the command is given. The first experience and early warfare. The very first time you pull the trigger, the violent recoil leaves your shoulder bruised for an entire week. The thick smoke makes you gasp for air, and the deafening blast leaves a persistent ringing in your ears that lasts for days. Your introduction to actual combat is a minor one, a brief clash over a crossroads. Your platoon is dug in, taking cover behind a sturdy wooden barricade. As the enemy Ashigaru charge forward across the open terrain, your commander shouts the order. You discharge your muskets, and the advancing lines collapse into the grass-like stalks of wheat sliced down by a scythe. However, the enemy's retaliatory fire takes its toll on your comrades nearby. Among the casualties is a young man from the neighboring village. You knew him by name. You were forced to watch him slowly bleed to death in the dirt. Yet, you do not pause your firing. In fact, you are incapable of stopping. Had you hesitated for even a moment, the captain would have executed you on the spot himself. You return to your quarters that evening, swallow your portion of rice, and try to find sleep. But rest never comes. In the quiet of that night, you discover something new about who you are, a dark reality for which you cannot yet find the words. Level 3, the Retainer. Your loyalty and service have been proven. You have survived 3 military campaigns, endured 2 wounds, and earned a solid reputation for remaining completely composed under heavy fire. Your resilience has caught the attention of the samurai superiors. One of these officers, a lower-ranking vassal to the daimyo, decides to bring you into his household to serve as a retainer. To be clear, this does not mean you have risen to the rank of a samurai, your social status remains that of a commoner. However, you are no longer just an ordinary infantryman stationed at the front lines. Now, you are in the direct service of a samurai. You reside within his estate and share his dining table, even if you are restricted to the lowest, most distant seat. Your daily responsibilities involve tending to his horses, maintaining and polishing his armor, and handling various household chores. You are now an integral part of his household. His household belongs to the daimyo's territory, and the territory is part of the wider world. You finally possess a clear place and purpose. You are no longer a nobody. Your master is not a legendary lord. He is a mid-tier samurai managing a modest estate with an annual yield of roughly 300 koku. For context, a single koku represents the amount of rice needed to sustain one adult male for a full year. With an income of 300 koku, your master lives a comfortable but unpretentious life. He has a wife and 2 children. Aside from you, his household employs 6 other retainers. He provides for you and gives you a small allowance. He permits you to carry a single short sword, the wakizashi, on certain occasions. The long sword, the katana, remains reserved exclusively for samurai. You have not yet earned the right to bear one. In his household, you learn things you could never have learned in the village. You learn how to read. You study the calligraphy of basic characters, enough to understand simple orders and write your own name. You master the proper way to enter a room, the correct way to bow, and the appropriate manner to address men of different ranks. You observe the tea ceremony from the corner as your master performs it for his guests. You discover that the samurai world is not only about combat. It consists of 1,000 small rituals and gestures, each one filled with meaning, each one revealing whether you truly belong. You are still a peasant pretending, but you are becoming more convincing. You watch everything. You remember everything. Level 4, the samurai. It happened in the 8th year of your service. There was a battle near the inland sea. Your master was unhorsed and surrounded by enemies. You charged in with a borrowed naginata, killed 2 enemy samurai, and dragged your master to safety. He took an arrow in the leg, but he survived. After the battle, in his tent, while the camp doctor stitched his wound, he looked at you. He spoke the words that would change your life. He said he would petition the daimyo to elevate your status. He declared that you had earned the right to wear 2 swords. The petition was granted. A ceremony was held. You knelt before the daimyo, a man you had never imagined you would meet, and he granted you a name, a samurai name, a surname. Peasants do not have surnames, only samurai do. You accepted the name and bowed until your forehead touched the floor. When you rose, you were a different person. You now carried a katana at your hip, given to you by your master. The weight of it altered the way you walked. You felt taller. Yet you also felt watched. Because the truth was this, the other samurai of the household, the ones who. Here is the paraphrased version with the same meaning, but in fresh wording. They never truly accepted you. Not deep down. They smiled to your face, shared drinks with you, and publicly congratulated you. But behind your back, they whispered that you were just a peasant, an upstart who didn't belong. They watched your every move, searching for any hint of crude breeding, any slip in manners, any lack of refinement. Because of that, you became twice as cautious as everyone else. You carefully observed the most polished samurai in the household and copied their gestures with precision. You learned that being promoted is not the same as being accepted. The first could be granted with a piece of paper. The second had to be earned through a lifetime of effort. You also studied Bushido, the way of the warrior, the unwritten code that ruled every part of a samurai's existence. Loyalty above all else. Honor above life itself. Death before dishonor. A samurai's duty was to serve his lord without question, without delay, and without concern for his own life. If your lord commanded you to die, you died. If he ordered you to kill, you killed. If your lord was shamed, you erased that shame with blood, either your enemies or your own. you memorized the code. You recited it to yourself every night before sleep. Sometimes, in the quietest hours, you wondered whether you truly believed it. But you never allowed yourself to dwell on those doubts for long. Doubting was something peasants did. A samurai simply obeyed. Level 5. The Master Swordsman. 12 years had passed since you were made a samurai. You had fought in 7 campaigns. You had taken more lives than you could remember. Eventually, you stopped trying to keep count. The numbers no longer held any meaning. What mattered now was the moment, that brief space between 2 breaths when your blade clashed with another and only one of you walked away alive. You had trained under 3 different sword masters. The first taught you the fundamentals, the cuts, the stances. Let me know if you want any part adjusted further. The second master taught you the school of 2 swords, wielding the katana and wakizashi in unison. The third master taught you something that could not be expressed in words. He was an elderly man, almost 70, living alone in a modest dojo on the outskirts of the city. He spoke little. He demonstrated. He corrected your form. He sent you home to reflect. You studied with him for 5 years. By the end, you realized that true swordsmanship was not about the blade itself, but about the mind. The sword was merely the point where the mind revealed itself. On your final day, the old man told you something. He said that a swordsman who fears death will surely meet it. The only way to truly live, he explained, was to neither fear death nor desire it. You did not fully grasp his meaning for many years. You believe you understand it now. That understanding came gradually. And it came too late. You have fought many proper duels, 2 swordsmen facing each other without armor, sometimes with wooden blades, sometimes with steel. Matters of honor that could only be resolved by the edge. You have won every duel. You have killed 3 men and crippled 2 more. The men you killed in duels haunt you in a way the deaths from battle never did. Battle is chaos and confusion. Duels are deeply personal. You looked into their eyes and saw the exact moment they realized they were going to die. That moment now lives inside you. It will remain with you forever. You are 34 years old. You serve a new lord. Your previous master died during a winter campaign, and you pledged your loyalty to his cousin, a more powerful daimyo. You now have a wife, the daughter of a samurai family of slightly higher rank than your own. The marriage was arranged. You did not love her at first, but you love her now. You have 2 sons. You teach them everything you know, the way of the sword, the way of the brush, and the way of the tea ceremony. You pass on to them what your master once told you.